Recoding variables. So when you prepare a data set, sometimes you want to recode a variable. For example, here we have gender, and as you can see it's coded 1 and 2. If we go into the variable view, we can find out that 1 is female and 2 equals male. Now when you recode the variables, you have basically two choices. You can recode into the same variable, so just recode this one, or you can create a new variable with the recoded values. I would recommend to always create a new variable, because that way you are sure that you have that you preserve the old data and you don't get confused. Sometimes we do multiple recodings and you don't get confused if you did a recode already or not. That way it's clear. But here anyways you have the options recoding to the same variable and recoding to a different variable. Again, I strongly recommend to recode in a different variable. So therefore, if you're doing a different variable, you do input variable and the output variable. So the input variable will be gender, and then the output, we give it a new name. So we could, for example, call it gender underscore R. And in the label, we could say gender recoded. And then hit change, and you notice how it added gender underscore R up here. Now we have all the new values, right? We looked already at the data set, so we know that there's 1s and 2s, and now we could say, okay, the 1 for female, I want you to create the new value 0, and I'm going to add. And the old value 2, I want you to create the new value 1. So when you look here, the old values 1s are becoming 0s and 2s are becoming 1s. And now another thing you might want to consider is to create a system missing. What should you do if it's system missing or system or user missing? Right? You could say system missing. I'm going to have it system missing and keep it that way. Right? Or then you also have opportunities to create ranges for recoding, or range to the lowest value, range to the highest value, or then all other values insert a certain value. Right? So we'll get continue. And then see, I didn't click add it. So here, old values, new values, continue. And now I could hit OK, and it would do it. Or I hit paste and enter it into the syntax. I would also recommend you use the syntax, and then you always know what you actually did. So if we go and look into the syntax, we see here we recoded the variable gender. The 1s are becoming 0s, the 2s are becoming 1s, and the system missing is system missing, and we do that into the gender underscore R variable. And the label for this gender R is gender recoded. So if we highlight this and we hit play, we can see in the output, right, we see in the output it did the recode here. This is what it did, what this business did, and we see it added at the end, it added a 0 and 1 to our data set. And now we could go into and clean out the details. We could say, okay, we don't need any decimals. Right, we just want 0s and 1s. And we could have actually done that already in this variable here, and then the recode would have been with no decimals.